And when we heard the term sustainable assets mentioned a couple of times, what exactly do you mean by that? And probably of interest to people in this room, when you're looking at business in Turkey, what kind of businesses, what sectors are you interested in? Evren, do you want to start?
Sure. I mean, I'm wearing two hats as an ex-finance economist. I think the entirety of Turkey is very sustainable. If you look at the world, there are maybe 20, 25 high-growth countries, middle-income countries that are catching up. Of these, most of them are in one way or another broken, either rule of law or infrastructure or just many of the key elements you need for growth to become a rich country, to produce more and increase your GDP. They're just not in place. And Bastian mentioned some of those key success factors like infrastructure and rule of law and et cetera, et cetera. So I won't go into that. And human capital and entrepreneurship. And Turkey is very unique across the growth markets in the world that it actually has all of these things. And maybe Brazil is another example. And maybe there's one or two other countries that have kind of everything in place. India, maybe, if you choose to ignore the horrible bureaucracy. So I think that is very unique and very sustainable about Turkey and its economy, and why I'm so bullish about the Turkish economy going forward. In terms of sectors, we obviously focus on the, as a venture capital firm, we focus on early stage companies that are today relatively small, but that we believe can become large companies in the future. Our typical test is, can we see this company doing a $200 million exit in the next 5-10 years? So that's typically the key test for us.
I also think that it's a great country because there are high cultural barrier to entries. I think it's not so easy for a US company to come to Turkey and just launch a subsidiary here and without adapting to the cultural business here. So for us as a global venture capitalist, it's also interesting to see the potential exits. And I think that investing in Turkish entrepreneurs who know very well their country, but who also are very open to all the models, all the global models, then there are a lot of opportunities for selling their companies maybe at one point to US or European guys who couldn't do it themselves.
Bastian?
Yeah, I think one concern that I would raise about Turkey right now is on the entrepreneur side. Some entrepreneurs would say, okay, there's a big shortage of funding available right now for us. So they would tend to be more cautious and say, no, I'm not actually going to launch my startup right now. And I think that's a mistake because as investor, we're really ready to take the risk. And I don't see any investor, any entrepreneur saying, okay, I have this idea, I'm the one that's going to make it happen, and I'm going to make the investor dream. I don't see the investor come back and say, no, actually the Turkish lira is devaluating too much, we're not going to invest. So it can still happen. And the big risk is on the entrepreneur side that they would be less likely to start businesses because they believe they're not going to be able to achieve anything because of this shortage of funding.
Sorry, well, we're at that point. I think that's actually a very good idea. Turkey does not lack in entrepreneurship. I often joke that if you go to some place in Istanbul and turn 5 random people from the street, you'll probably get 25 business plans. The entrepreneurship is not something that we lack. I think what we lack is Turks, and we also have to be self-critical, because that is also important for success, is we lack commitment. We lack patience. And we lack the patience to see things through sometimes. And I think a big indication for Turkey is that, again, if you look at the stock market, just to pick on some data, you will not find a single company today with a market cap higher than $15 billion. Not a single one. So in the entire country, even though it is so many large companies, banks, etc., has not been able to produce a global champion. And I think that is symptomatic of something. It doesn't prevent Turkey from growing into a $1 or $2 trillion economy, but I think that it does prevent Turkey growing into a $5-10 trillion economy in 30-40 years. And our entrepreneurs need to learn to be more patient and to commit into what they're really doing. And I don't mean just entrepreneurs here and the startup, etc., but it's a general trait that we have, that we achieve some success and then get spoiled too quickly. And I think if I could change one thing about Turkey culturally, in terms of the business culture, that would be the one thing I would focus on.
Yeah, I would also say that Turkish entrepreneurs are really local. While they have this big access to the MENA region, I think they should think more globally, like they do in Southeast Asia, where when you launch a venture, you already have a plan to go to Thailand, Indonesia first, then you go to other markets. So they have really milestones that they would like to achieve. And here, it's they talk about the domestic market, and I think it's too bad because there's so much opportunity in the region, and the actually only entrepreneurs that could do that are the Turkish entrepreneurs.